Hello, dear ones. Christ is risen. Indeed, he is risen. A blessed and glorious bright Monday to all of you. I hope you had a wonderful Paschal celebratory weekend at your little churches at home. I want to talk this week about people who were involved with Christ around his crucifixion and his resurrection. So I'm just going to take a different person or group of people for each day of this blessed bright week and spend a couple of minutes kind of unpacking them, talking a little bit about them, reflecting on it. Today I want to talk about the guards. The guards that were set over the tomb in particular to watch it and to make sure that it was secure so that the disciples wouldn't come in by night and steal away Christ's body. Now, who are the guards? First, if we think back of when Jesus was standing before Pontius Pilate releases Jesus to the guards to be scourged, and they take him and they mock him and they beat him, they spit upon him. We know what they did, right? The false purple robe and the reed in his hands and all of these things. They mock him. So these are the centurions, the guards of Pilate, and they do what Pilate commands them to do. Then we see the guards, the centurion soldier, for example, at the foot of the cross. And what does he do? Well, he and the other guards are there. They are dividing Christ's garments among themselves, casting lots for his tunic. And then there's a shift that takes place, though. And in particular, I'm talking about the centurion he's at the foot of the cross, keeping watch. And then Jesus gives up the spirit. And there's an earthquake, and the tombs are open. All the things that had happened while Jesus was on the cross, he was obviously affected by those things, and he cries out and says, "Truly, this was the Son of God." So we see this shift beginning to take place, and then it's even magnified more when we see what happens at the tomb itself on Pascha morning. We're told in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 27, that the angel of the Lord descends from heaven with great power, and there's a great earthquake, and the stone is rolled away from the entrance of the tomb, and the angel comes and sits down upon the stone. And the guards are so overwhelmed with fear of the angel and of what they've seen, it says that they became as dead men. It brings us back to that Sunday Troparia. The soldiers who were to keep guard over thy most pure body became as dead men. So these guards who were guarding the tomb of Christ, they are soldiers under the command of Pontius Pilate. You remember when the Jewish authorities asked for Pilate's permission, basically, to have the tomb sealed with wax and then to have the guards placed, right? They were basically asking not just for permission for them to do it, they were asking for guards. They wanted him to give them guards. So we're told that he tells them, you have a guard, go and make it as secure as you can. An alternate interpretation of that, a translation of that, would be, he says, you take a guard, right? And he's not referring to one, but a small group of guards. So anyway, these are Pilate's guards, basically, who are keeping watch. Then, after they recover from their shock, whether they were passed out at the tomb or just paralyzed by fear, whatever it means to become as dead man, eventually they recovered enough that they went and they told the Jewish leaders what happened, and the Jewish leaders paid them off and then advocated with Pilate on the guards' behalf so that they wouldn't be killed for failing in their task. And so far as we know, that's how it all went down, that they in fact took the money and survived. So I just wanted to kind of highlight the place of the guards in the whole crucifixion story and the resurrection story, and really just magnify the point in particular that these men went from being cruel, right? I mean, what they did to Jesus under Pilate was just horrific, right? The way that they treated him. Then, at the cross, again, casting lots for his clothing, reviling him, etc. And then the shift that seems to take place where the one centurion in particular cries out, truly this was the Son of God. A different place it's said that he said, truly this was a righteous man. Or perhaps it was another one of the guards who said that. And then at the tomb of Christ, where they encounter the power of God, right? And when they encounter the power of the living God, the resurrected Christ and his angel, then they are overwhelmed, overcome by fear, and they basically collapse as dead men. So, in other words, no matter how tough you are, and the centurions had to be tough, they had to carry out these sometimes really awful orders, and yet, no matter what kind of tough guys they were, cruel, hardened, whatever, when they encountered Christ on the cross in his glory as he died, or when they encountered his power at the resurrection, they were completely overwhelmed and overcome by the power and glory of God. So that's a little bit of a reflection on the guards. God bless you. I hope you have a really wonderful rest of this beautiful and glorious and bright Monday. Christ is risen. Indeed, he is risen.